Hey guys, we're going to call this an odds and sods video. This is a type of video where I just kind of try and scoop up some of the things that kind of get lost between the cracks. You know, not every tool find is a genuine pick where I buy a bunch of stuff. Sometimes it's just a one-off thing or a couple things, or some horse trading went on. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. I'm going to start with, I don't know if those of you may recall, if you watch my videos regularly, a while back I bought a Craftsman machinist toolbox on a pick. I bought it with the contents. I mainly wanted the contents, but I ended up paying for the box with the contents. And my hope was that I was going to be able to get 50 bucks or 50 to 70 bucks for that box. Unfortunately, when I got the box out into light after I paid for it, that box had some issues. It had a problem with the hinge being seized up, and it had some rust on the back where the hinge area was. So that box needed some attention. So I knew I was going to have to blow that box out pretty cheap for like 40 or 50 bucks. And as luck would have it, somebody that I've traded with in the past for tools had been he had recently been asking me whether or not I had any more machinist toolboxes. He had bought a Kennedy off of me a while back, and I mentioned that I had this Craftsman one that I knew I could let him have for short money. He often prefers to see if he can get me to trade tools. You know, I decided, what the heck, I'd go and see what he had. The pickings were kind of slim, but I wanted to dump that box. He wanted the box. So I decided to make a deal work somehow. So he showed me a whole bunch of ratchets he had, Craftsman ratchets, and I picked through them, and I picked out these two. Now, I have more than enough ratchets, and I don't need any more, but the reason why I wanted these two was because I like the look of the handles, how they are ergonomically. This is marked USA VS 44813, and this one is marked USA VN 44812 by the looks of it. According to him, he said that these were actually special because supposedly they have really fine teeth, or more teeth on the ratcheting part. So the idea being that when you turn it, that you could tell, especially on the small one, from the sound, it's a very fine tooth. And what that's supposed to do for you is, by having a fine tooth, you're supposed to be able to get this to turn with very short stroke. And it does. If you were trying to get down into a tight area where you didn't have much room to actually actuate the ratchet. We've all been in those situations where you got to swing so much of an arc to get the ratchet to engage to the next point, that you just can't do it. You're doing this and nothing's happening, right? I figure out, again, just get the deal done. Took these ratchets, spotted this fishing reel, thought, hey, I know some of these deep sea fishing reels can be worth some good money. This one is marked J.C. Higgins 304-42170, made in the USA. And then I found out, after I researched it, I went online, apparently this is a pen. This was like a division of pen or something. I don't know anything about fishing reels. As is evident by the fact that I thought that this had maybe might have some significant value. Luckily, again, I was only allowing trade on that box that I didn't really care too much about, because it turns out this is not a very valuable fishing reel, even though it does look like it's got some age to it. And, the Bakelite or whatever this material is seems like it's in good shape. There's a little bit of spotting on the chrome, so it's, I don't know. So luckily, I think I'm only into this for about $5, I figure. But the pleasant surprise was this last item. So I traded him the reel, and these two ratchets for that box. And the last item here, these are crow's feet wrenches. So you can put these on a 3/8 inch extension and reach down in and, basically get down inside somewhere, right? So I've got a set of these that are a cheap brand, because I don't use them hardly at all, but it's nice to have them when you use them. And this is a complete set. And lo and behold, come to find out, he was just using this box to store this. This is, I don't know what this box was for. Storage for assorted tools and fasteners. Man, This is a Craftsman crow's foot set. And it turns out, not only is it a Craftsman set, it's a particular Craftsman set. These say V-43628 on them. Of course, they're probably all different numbers because of the size. But this is actually a more expensive Craftsman set. This is actually a pretty nice set. So I'm probably going to end up keeping these for myself. So this is really what I was happy in the end. Come to find out, this I shouldn't have even paid anything for, and this I got a really good deal on. So it all worked out in the end. I got rid of another box that I don't need. He got a box that he wanted, and I got a few odds and ends tools. Then he was asking about whether or not I had any multiple draw units, like storage units and stuff like that. And I had this small metal case with plastic drawers in it. I'm sorry, that had metal drawers in it. So this thing I had picked many, many moons back, I think at the used tool store, and I got it for really cheap money. I mean, like $3 or $5 or something like that, because you see it's missing the bottom drawer, so it only had the 3 drawers. But he also likes wood planes, and I had this wood plane that I also picked for about $6. And I did the research on it. I forgot what this ended up being, but it wasn't a very rare plane. It's an early one, like 1950s, I think, but it wasn't something that was super rare. But he liked it enough so that he was willing to trade me straight up that metal drawer and that plane for this vise that he had. Now, he had this vise up for sale on Marketplace for a while, and he was asking, I think, $75 or $70 for it, and he wasn't getting any action on it. So since he had it up for a while and I had those pieces and I knew he was into trading, I contacted him and I asked him if he wanted to do that. And sure enough, he did a straight up trade. So it's kind of hard to see, but on the side here, this is marked, it's a Palmgren vise. So this is actually a pretty nice vise. He took this all apart. This was probably rusty when he got it, judging from the pitting and stuff I see. But he took this whole thing apart, cleaned it all up, and then he loves painting. So he painted the base. Luckily he didn't paint, here where the graduations are. And he painted this moving jaw, and he painted the handle here. Otherwise he left it pretty much original. But this is actually a pretty nice vise. It's got some damage here on the top. It looks to me like, judging from that somebody had probably something, they had something tightened in the vise and they hit this with a grinding wheel or a cutoff wheel. Anyways, I kind of like this vise. I've got one similar to it now. I've got one that basically is the same thing as this, only it's not on the swivel base. I'm kind of curious whether or not the one that I have, whether or not it really is identical to this and whether or not you could actually put that base on the one I have. Yeah, so it turns out it is. So here's the one I've had forever. I mean, I've had this a long, long time. This is a really handy vise. And it's a number 000 Palmgren. It's marked right there, just like that one is. And sure enough, there's a hole on the bottom here. So if I wanted to, because my vise actually doesn't have the damage here on the jaws that this other one does. So what I could do is I could take this base off of here if I really wanted to, and I could transfer it to there. Don't really need to keep both of them, so I'll probably sell one of them. Next up, one of the guys that I sell tools to quite often, he had mentioned to me at one point that he had a Best Test Brown and Sharp case, an extra one that was kicking around that he had absolutely no use for. So he, it was funny, he mentioned it to me and he said, I could have it for the cost of shipping it, and I had never, we had never really connected on it. And then the funny thing was, another person had posted on Marketplace or Used Machinist Tools site or something, had posted that they had one for the asking basically $10 shipping included, which it's literally they're asking only a couple bucks for it. And I was thinking to myself, I've got some Best Tests out for repair right now to MR Tool, and they're going to be coming back, and they don't have cases. So it wouldn't hurt to have a couple extra cases. So I immediately mentioned to the person I would take the one for $10 ship, and that actually resulted in me reconnecting with the other person, and he said, yeah, you know, no problem. So I said I'd give him the same deal. This is one of them. So it's in great shape. It looks like it may have been modified. I'm not sure if that's... Yeah, see how this is all gouged out? So I think somebody modified that for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm not going to worry about it because I'm pretty sure that's going to still hold a best test, you know, indicator, no problem. Look at that. They even routed out an area here in the top to make extra room. Huh. So there's that one. And then this one I haven't even opened yet. Oh yeah, I remember this one. This is the one that cost $10, and not only is it the case, but it's also the original box, which is kind of cool. That's a newer one. I believe that's a newer style. So we even got the little certificate, and oh, and this one has the original wrench for the points, the little contact point, and what looks to be an original accessory included in this one. So that's a sweet deal there. So I'll be able to make somebody really happy with the deal on a Brown & Sharpe best test with the case and a little accessory down the road. All right, we got two more items here. We're going to close this one out. This is going to be a really quick episode. So I picked these two chucks just the other day at the used tool store. This one is a Jacobs number 0 chuck, okay, in a straight shank with the key. Nice little precision chuck, really little sucker, okay. See next to my finger, size of that. But these aren't that valuable. So I paid $7.50 for that one. And, you know, these sell for on eBay. I've seen them as low as like $5 plus shipping, and then like, you know, 10 or 15 if it's really clean like this one with the key, with the chuck key. Okay, so I'm okay, but I think I already have one of these, which means I've got to resell one of these, and I'm not going to make a lot of money on it, but that's okay. But this was this was the deal of the week, maybe. This is a sweet little Albrecht, and this is a it's marked 0-1,5, which I think, if I recall correctly, I think that means it's 1.5 millimeter. So this is another one of these really little precision chucks. Now, because it's an Albrecht, it's worth a lot more money than that previous Jacobs, and it's a keyless. It's in excellent shape for those of you who are wondering. The jaws look perfect, which is great news. All right, it's got a straight shank on it. If this is a genuine Albrecht shank or arbor, it actually increases the value. But the big deal on these is that many of these have the sensitive drilling attachment built into them, and those are when these things go for $80, $90, or well over $100 when they have that attachment. This one does not have that attachment, but this is still, you know, a high dollar precision Albrecht chuck. So that was a hell of a great deal. I picked that at the tool store. So just to show you, this is a little bit larger version, but and this is actually a different brand. This is a Rohm, which is Rohm, R-O-H-M, which is a cheaper German-made keyless alternative to the Albrecht. But you see this ring right here? This is the sensitive drilling attachment. So the idea behind this is, this actually free spins. So the idea is that while this is spinning, you grab this and you use this to feed the very small drill bit in, and it gives you a very sensitive feel for how much pressure you're putting in and whether or not you're running into trouble. That's the idea behind these. Okay, but a genuine Albrecht one of these on an Albrecht chuck like that makes it over $100 item easily. All right, guys, so that's it. Like I said, down and dirty, quick and clean, and we're out of here. So hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please hit the thumbs up button, and or the like button, I should say. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Take care.